From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics. Proudly combating the thought police since 2016, here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. My throat's sore, it's hard to breathe, and when I blow my nose, there's blood involved. Am I sick? No. LA is on fire. It all started Monday night at 6:33 p.m. when it was reported that a brush fire had broken out at the Aquinas College. It was initially dubbed the school fire. It grew wildly to more than 15 square miles in the hours that followed, consuming vegetation that hasn't burned in decades. The wind was blowing as high as 80 miles an hour. That's hurricane force winds of fire. Highways began to shut down. 100 plus acres were on fire. The fire was visible all over Ventura County, and this is just within the first 20 minutes, which is when the fire gets a new name, the Thomas Fire, because that's when the fire just starts jumping highways like it's no big deal, just jumping over Highway 150. Suddenly, the residents of Santa Paula, California are under immediate evacuation, like drop what you're doing right now and GTFO. If you don't know what that stands for, it means get the front out, okay? Now, don't wait to be told to evacuate, just leave. No hope for containment. Within an hour, 500 plus acres are on fire. An hour and a half, 2,500 acres. 2.5 hours, 5,000 acres. 3.5 hours, 10,000 acres. Power is going out everywhere. By 11 p.m., Ventura County Fairgrounds becomes the official evacuation area. Mobile home parks are on fire and propane tanks are exploding. Traffic in Ventura is in snarls. But then this is when the fire gets ready to jump another highway, Highway 33. Now there's people trapped in the canyon. New fires are sparking up and merging with the big fire. 25,000 acres were on fire. Hospitals begin evacuating. 31,000 acres burned. Resources are completely maxed out. And then another fire. The Creek Fire had broken out in Los Angeles. LA residents on the west side, hundreds of miles away from the original fire, woke up to orange, hazy skies with ash all over their cars and bikes. People were covering their face to breathe. It smelled like you were seated next to your campfire. But when you woke up, there was no campsite and there was no campfire in sight. And then a third fire broke out. The Rye Fire in Santa Clarita, and it's heading towards the Thomas Fire. Now there's the Skirball Fire, the Brentwood Fire, the Bel Air Fire. There's a Beverly Hills Fire. By now there's 90,000 acres burned, over 140 miles. Winds at speeds of 66 miles an hour to 85 miles per hour are blowing through the Santa Monica Mountains. Death tolls are unknown, but it's clear there is total devastation. Donald Trump Jr. refused to tell lawmakers about conversations he had with his father regarding a 2016 Trump Tower meeting with Russians. On Wednesday, Trump Jr. sat through an 8-hour interview with the Congressional Oversight Committee and claimed attorney-client privilege. He's not an attorney. His father's not an attorney. He claimed it about a conversation he had with his dad, meaning he did not answer questions, and since there was no judge in that room, he got away with it. Clearly, he is trying to shield himself and the president from the truth. Mr. Mediator, the greatest deal maker of all times, Donald Trump, President Trump, names Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and announces plans to move the U.S. embassy there. And people are pissed, like all over the place. And some other people are like, calm down, everyone. Nothing's really happening. We're just building here in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. Building an embassy. Talk amongst yourselves. Middle East peace. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just building here. It's a new approach. Well, that's something everyone can agree on. This is certainly a new approach, perhaps unprecedented. This move is very controversial, and even this morning, there is fighting in the streets. Finally, Congress passes some new gun legislation. That is just, it's taken too long. In a country where people are shot and killed all the time, we finally passed logical gun restrictions. What? No? What do you, no, we didn't? It wasn't restrictions? Congress loosened gun laws? What? The House of Representatives approved legislation Wednesday loosening gun regulations and allowing those with permits to carry concealed weapons to legally travel with those firearms to other states. This is the first major firearms-related bill Congress has voted on since the massacres in Las Vegas, and they voted for more guns. The NRA is celebrating this decision, saying, "This is a culmination of a 30-year movement recognizing the right of all law-abiding Americans to defend themselves and their loved ones, including when they cross state lines." Or in other words, with a different tone of voice, "No one's gonna take my gun, not now, not ever." This vote marked the first time since Newtown that the House took up any significant gun legislation. And I want to just make a stay on the record, maybe I've said it before, that I believe it in gun rights. Your right to protect yourself against a government that might try to overtake you. You have a right. But my pew-pews aren't going to stop the government, so I need full legislation. I want the right to have a drone capable of firing Tomahawk missiles. Nothing else will do.